Okay, so now we're talking pop pass here, 3x1 sets, and with an inline tight end there. As you can see, the Y is the tight end right there to the trip side on the line. That's the guy we're trying to pop it to with it here. And then obviously see the mic on the second level. A lot of times that's our read and how we want to do it. And there's times in game planning where, I really feel better if we go big on big here on the back side, and then we can zone it there on the front side, and then we're running this zone, and our quarterback's eyes are on this guy, but we're not naked. But there's times where West Virginia, they are just going to mash on this 3 technique up to the mic, really causing that action, and they may know that, hey, these guys are going to be a box team, or maybe they're not, or they're a squeeze scrape team, or they're not. They just bank on their op time between their quarterback to the pop here, and they'll go naked on this defensive end. Game planning for us, a lot of times we're going to go big on big there, but it's going to be whatever you feel most comfortable with and what you think your quarterback can handle in terms of getting that ball out to that tight end. So again, with this concept, it's all about finding that green grass, and your tight end just got to understand that green grass is going to be right in front of me. Our run action is going to pull that mic down, and now I got to go find that green grass. And then I think the next thing that's important is they've got to understand that triangle. A lot of times when we're in trips, you got to understand that triangle of that mic that's inside of me, the free safety that can be on top of me, and then the nickel Sam that's out there that can squeeze it. And they just got to understand, where's this thing going to end up? Am I going to really go replace this mic and sit down? Am I going to run away from that mic and get it here on a soft shoulder, understanding that I've got to stay in front of this guy, and I got to stay away from this guy squeezing. Now, one thing you're going to see with this West Virginia film is they're going to use super wide splits out here, and they're going to really bring those splits out. And this nickel Sam, a lot of the times, he's not even a factor. If they're not using motion and they're using big splits, that guy's not even a factor. But that triangle right there, it's just educating your quarterback, and also your tight end pop guy that this area that he's going to, he's got to understand. We're getting this action to bring the mic down, and we got to understand what's on top of me and what can squeeze from the opposite side of me there. So again, it's this inline tight end pop pass. I think those are some of the basics of just understanding that with this play, and I think it can be a really good football play for you guys. And again, a couple of things we talked about: you getting to that open space, understanding that open space, understanding the triangle of those 3 players that can affect me as the pop runner, and obviously if I'm the quarterback. And then we'll look at some motion plays here in a second. Okay, so talking pop pass still, and then using motion. So we're going to go from 3x1 to 2x2. And we all know with that motion, the defense now has to communicate, and you've got guys, gaps are going to change and different things are going to change. And, a lot of times if you're going to use this race motion, what we call race motion, where the ball is going to be snapped somewhere in this region right here, and it's got the threat of, jet sweep, and it's really good high tempo motion. Now there's got to be some communication here in terms of, who's coming down here, who's going to be the extra fill guy. Now is this guy going to rotate here, and then this guy's got to squeeze in the box, and now he's got to be the D gap, player there. So again, obviously you got a game plan on who you're playing and how they fit and the way their defense adjusts to motion. But I think when you look at this thing, the defense has to communicate with this. So again, now just blocking it up here, just pop pass. The easiest way is just to run it off of zone. And here we'll go naked on the end. We're going to double team up to Mike. We're double teaming up to Will. We're basing there. And now this guy would be your pop guy, and we would be naked there on the line of scrimmage there. But just knowing that this downhill action is going to create some space there. And then the op time with the quarterback to get the ball out. So just drawing it up like that. We'll take a look at the film here in a second, and we'll take a look at one more motion here that'll go from 2x2 to 3x1. Okay, so now another way, just looking at this 2x2 formation, and now we're going to send them to 3x1. And again, the type of motion you use is really important. And a lot of times what you're going to see what we would call that race motion, that really fast motion here, that's got this threat now to be able to run jet sweep. So again, what's happening here? There's going to be some sort of communication between those guys and down to this guy, and then eyes are going to wander. And we always say that using motion is going to cause emotion on defense, and it's going to cause someone really to maybe step outside of their gap or step outside of their zone of what they're covering. And that's where some big explosive plays can happen here. And I think you can do a really good job in game planning in that. So again, with this pop pass, before we get to the film, we're looking for that open space. The run action creates the space. Teach your pop pass guy where he's got to get to it, who your read typically is getting that Mike to step down, and then that triangle of guys that can affect you with that. And then use motion. And like we said, motion is going to cause emotion by the defense, and you're going to see some really good plays here from West Virginia. So again, this is the pop pass with that tight end on the end line.